Hi, this is the PlugInIndia review team, and we are here today with creative minds. Today it's pleasantly drizzling at Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and we are celebrating innovation and design. We are here with Mr. Rajit Arya, the CEO of electric manufacturing firm Morello Yamasaki. Joining him is Priyank Dahanukar. They are also into manufacturing electric powertrains. We have Prashant Goel, the managing director of the electric manufacturing firm Hulikkal India Private Limited, and our very dear friend Kamlesh Malik, the founder of PlugInIndia, and my co-partner Rafe Halim. Okay, so we've gathered here and we have a set of questions, the kind that the community and EV fans would like to ask the industry at large. We would like any one of you, or preferably all of you, to chip in your thoughts. The first question, that the most common one, I'm sure you've heard as well, that we have, say, 1% of electric vehicles on the Indian roads. So, including the cars and the two-wheelers, do you think, are you optimistic about the numbers going up?
Yes, in fact, the government has now started supporting the entire initiative. The FAME policy which has come up, so that will help us out in rolling out vehicles. So the manufacturers will get subsidies on the entire production, by which manufacturers will be happy, and even the subsidies can be passed on to the customer, by which the cost of the vehicles can come down. And hopefully we would have to then, as a community of EV, we would have to educate the crowd on the benefits and the advantages of electric vehicles, both two-wheelers, bicycles and four-wheelers.
Yeah. Would you like to add anything to that?
So I'd just like to add to what he said. More than the industry, now it's time for the government to take some initiative, and they have begun. As he mentioned, the NEMMP plan, which is now rolled out under the FAME scheme, is a much needed step that the industry has been waiting for a long time. The industry altogether, two-wheeler manufacturers, four-wheeler manufacturers, and commercial vehicle companies that are planning commercial vehicles have all been putting in a lot of effort for the last decade in India, but only with some government initiative and the intention to drive electric vehicle sales, can we really see a turnaround, and that will slowly and gradually happen now.
Right, so we do have optimism here. Would you like to add to that?
Well, certainly. I have a slightly, I'll beg to differ here. I believe that there was a reason why the EV industry did not really evolve as fast as the engine-based vehicles. It was, in my opinion, the development of EVs was slow. So it's high time that as manufacturers we do bring in quality vehicles. We actually, rather than anticipating demand incentives or government support, I guess we ought to bring in better vehicles and actually lure the consumers in. So we have to fight it out in the soil. Yeah, that's right. What I would say.
Right. Yeah. So we need to put in our efforts and then expect some great support from the government as well. So like he mentioned, the FAME scheme, is it really helping the industry?
So it's too early to say. As he rightly mentioned, there needs to be a joint effort, not only the government but the industry needs to pitch in. But because of all the slow movement that's happened over the last decade, the industry hasn't really taken to the FAME scheme yet.
Right.
The industry hasn't really started making its own effort. I think it's more like a wait and watch game where we're first waiting for the government to make a good move and then the industry will start pitching in. But only when you join hands with the government and the industry is when you really get results. There's a lot of work that needs to be done towards consumer awareness, because in the consumer's mind today the EV industry is a no-no. Because of all the technology issues, the quality issues, supply issues, substandard products, as you mentioned, the industry does need to now take steps to change that mindset and improve on technology and products.
Any add-ons?
For me, I would feel that the FAME policy is in favor of new technologies coming up. As if you go through the table of the FAME policy, you'll get an idea that lithium-ion battery packs and AC motors are being provided a larger amount of subsidies, and that is where the government is trying to pitch in to bringing the new technologies and take things forward. So we what people have thought of as a EV bike is something which drives just at 25 kilometers and 30 kilometers, and that's it. People are not looking at that right now in the market. It's good to go around here and there for a few minutes, and that's what people feel. But for a longer range and longer top speed is what the people are looking at. So that is where the powertrains will play a role at, and we would then take it forward. So we feel that the FAME will introduce more new technologies in the market, and it is the manufacturers and the initiative to take the things forward. That's what I feel.
Right.
For us, FAME has been a different ball game. Majorly because electric bicycle in the FAME scheme, so we are unfortunately left out as of now. But we do expect that things will turn around. There are a lot of positives in FAME. They have been able to capture the demand incentives, the R&D incentives, technology upgradation. It also talks a lot about charging stations as infrastructure development for urban mobility. So, right now I feel it may be too premature to say which way it's really going.
Right.
There's one question from a user about is the government doing enough? Currently, a lot of states, if you see, they charge VAT, they charge road tax. It's pretty high in some states, 14%, as high as 14%. On top of that, there's customs duty on imported components. So, do you think the government can actually do better, more, apart from the FAME scheme, regarding these charges, which they levy on components?
For me, EVI is doing manufacturing of motors and controllers in India, so the custom duty is off. Yes, the taxes are there, which have to be borne by the manufacturer or the OEM, and then directly to the customer. In terms of batteries, lithium-ion batteries, we in India there is not a single battery manufacturing unit. So that's something which is creating a problem for us. So we would like to have somebody been put up a battery manufacturing unit.
Factory.
Yes, yes,
Tesla.
yes, you can. And in fact, they are trying to come down here, but not for the batteries as such. So it's a different story altogether. So yes, if batteries were to be manufactured in India, then you could have a cost reduction of more than 50%. That's what I feel in terms of powertrains.
Okay, so Make in India is really a good thing for us.
Yes, yes.
So I'll answer that in two parts. One is about the state levies, that is typically a sales tax or VAT, value added tax. Now there are a couple of states like Delhi, even Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat that have reduced the VAT to 5, and in Delhi they've completely abolished it. Delhi also gives you another 14 to 15% subsidy beyond the reduction in VAT.
Right.
So there are a couple of states that have made taken those initiatives. In Maharashtra and Gujarat, it's 5% now. So it is in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. But there are a lot of states that still see the VAT structure at 14%, 12.5%, and it typically goes out to say that either that state government is not very interested in promoting electric vehicles at this stage, or maybe they've not really looked at it. So as the industry, we've been writing to multiple state governments and also asking the central government to send in their recommendations, and that process is on. We are in touch with a lot of state governments. The central government is also making its efforts, because today from the sales of electric vehicles, there is no state in which a government can earn more than 3 to 5 crores a year from VAT. Because the sale numbers are so low that if you really put their VAT earnings together, it's not beyond 3 to 5 crores, which I think is absolutely negligible, and they can completely abolish that for at least 5 years.
Okay.
On the imports duty and excess, on the import duty and the excise, unfortunately, a lot of these components are not manufactured in India yet. We have been working with a lot of ACMA members, which is the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association, ACMA in itself has been trying to promote the manufacturing of electric vehicle components, especially the drivetrain. ACMA has been asking its member manufacturers to get in touch with electric vehicle companies, and on the other side we have been trying to do that. We're part of all the conferences on this topic, but because volumes are low, there is a high deal of reluctance, and typically they ask for volume guarantees and so on, which is not possible at this stage. The government should, till the time that manufacturing begins in India, it should be at least another 2 years. The government should try and reduce import duties, custom duties that are levied on at least the drivetrain. Since 2011, there was a provision for up till March of this year to reduce custom duties on imports of these components, but now it's no more existing.
Okay. Would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, I do believe the government is taking a lot of efforts. With the sales tax or the state levies, I believe once the GST kicks in, it will really become irrelevant, which we see within the next 5 or 6 months happening. Okay. So that might really change these concerns. Then comes to the development of these parts here. There is DRDO, there is CERI. There are quite a number of institutes that are working on bringing lithium ion in India. There's also a couple of telecom handset manufacturers which have such projects in the near future. So we might see batteries being built up in India. The import duties are also subsidized from a normal 29-30% to about 6 to 7% for EV manufacturers exclusively. So on one side, yes, the government is doing, and the other side, I believe that 6 to 8 months down the line, I think things will improve.